Hello Reddit. Taxi drivers of Reddit, what was the most what the fuck conversations you overheard from people in your backseat? I was giving this couple a lift 3 days after my younger brother had died and wasn't really feeling conversation. I was keeping my eyes on the road and the lady said to the man, "Honey, our driver looks like he's on drugs. Look how out of it he looks." As if I wasn't in the vehicle, I smiled at the lady and said, "So how's your night going?" She didn't even answer. "Are you an Uber?" "What?" I said. "Are you an Uber?" "No." I had to drive a photographer to another town, and I took a friend of mine to accompany me. While driving there was silence, and all of a sudden, my friend began telling us how he saw on YouTube people getting their skin peeled off. I was like, dude, what the fuck? I've been driving in New York City for the past 6 years. I had these hipster from Brooklyn one late Saturday night. I just picked them up from a bar. 2 girls, 1 guy, and the guy was telling the girls about this guy, Jack, he was talking to at the bar. He apparently was talking to another guy, no name, about this chick he slept with in college who had a cold vagina. Jack sitting next to him turned and said, "Are you talking about Anna?" He turned to Jack and said, "Yeah, you know her?" Jack then said, "Yeah, I banged her too, and could never figure out her deal." They then bonded over Anna. Then it got weirder, because the girls started talking by themselves about the parties they used to throw. One was with a dead cat in a pool and someone was playing a violin in the pool and some girl showed up in a duct tape dress only covering her privates. Yes, you meet a bunch of stranger people driving in New York City. Not me, but a relative once overheard a phone conversation. It went like this. Hello. Yes dear, I'm on my way to work. Pause. Oh, they asked me to go to location because they wanted me to meet and work with someone from another company. Pause. I might not be back so early, so there is no need to wait up. Hangs up. My relative. Do you want me to change the destination? There is no need. Keep going to the original location. She was going to a club and was dressed like a slut, but with slightly more decency. After they reached outside the club, she was confronted by some buff dude, and they held hands and walked into the club. She was 100% cheating on her husband. I drove Uber and had an extremely drunk middle-aged couple get in the car after dinner. Well, the husband was extremely drunk anyway, maybe high as well. He spent the entire 25-minute ride telling his wife about how much he wanted to sleep with one of her friends. Not that he would, of course, just how pretty she was and how much he really wanted to sleep with her. The wife was not pleased. One night around 3 AM, I picked up a man who was drunk, not the enough how to don't know what he was doing, on a street near to a gay disco. Everything was okay. He was sitting in the co-pilot. He asked me for how many hours I work, how old I was. I was 19. Questions that people usually make me. Then he started to say that I was very handsome. I said thanks and pretended to laugh. 1 minute after he stayed like 4 minutes looking at me. Suddenly he said, "If he can suck my dick." I was like, WTF, and I started to laugh, trying to take the situation with humor, but he kept asking me for. I just said sorry, but I'm not gay. He started to say that it was because I man had never eaten my dick before. I just thinked that it was funny how someone can be so sick to say that to a strange, and I just laughed. He spent the rest of the trip that want me to fuck him. The thing reached a point where it was not funny, and when we got his home he stayed like 6 minutes telling his life and his problems, and I was like, PLS, go away PLS. BTW, sorry if I have any grammatical mistake, I'm learning yet. I drive for Uber part-time in Las Vegas. Last Labor Day I pick up a group of 4, 2 men, 2 women, and they were heading to a very popular gay club near the strip. The ride started out normally, just some people in their 20s going to party. After about 10 minutes of normal conversation they somehow get on the topic of which cities they visited have the best cocaine. My car is a particularly bad place to have this conversation, especially on that very weekend, because it just so happened to be the 12-year anniversary of my father passing away from a cocaine overdose. I had to shut them down very quickly, and once I told them why, no one said another word for the rest of the ride. When I was an Uber driver, I mostly just drove at night. because I made more money. The weirdest conversation I overheard was when I picked a 30-ish-year-old guy and a girl of about the same age from a strip club. The whole time the guy is rambling about his new startup and how he's going to basically own city we were in a few years. Deadpan serious. These are some of the lines he drops. I don't have friends. I have colleagues. I've never had a job before. I've just known a lot of rich people. I know how they think. That's why this program works. People don't understand the kind of intelligence I'm working with. This goes on for the entire car ride. Every now and then she would try to change the subject, but he was able to take everything she said and turn it into something about his company. We get to the hotel they had as their destination, and as soon as he gets out, she shuts the door behind him and says to me, "Would you mind taking me somewhere else?" Well, she was the one that ordered the ride, so I drove off before the guy could start making a big deal about it. She set a new destination, and the rest of the ride was pretty uneventful. No idea whatever happened to the guy. It's been a few years, and he still doesn't own the city, so I don't think his business ever went quite as planned. Not a taxi driver, but I was in an Uber pool with my GF going to the airport at 4 AM. We pick up this white girl, who looks high/drunk AF, and sits in the front seat next to our African driver. She starts talking, and her words are slurring, and asks the driver where he's from, to which he says Kenya. She says Hakuna Matata. I speak Swahili and are you? The driver laughs at her. She says something else in Swahili and the driver talk for like 20 minutes in Swahili. The whole time my GF are just looking at each other like WTF is happening. Apparently she wasn't lying and spoke some pretty good Swahili.